I'm traveling the country, photographing strangers off the internet, and right now it's every Finn's favorite time of year. The crispy white snow, which reflects light, remains frozen and comparatively dry, starts to melt into a brown and grey slush. It's +2 degrees, which means rain instead of snow, and every walkway offers a potential wet sock. What better time to meet an Australian down at the beach for this episode of Stitched With. We travelled to the south of Finland and on the coast of the Baltic Sea. As the last of us arrived at the retreat, we took almost immediately to the sauna, a great reset from the work and travel of the week behind. I felt it best to leave my camera away for this session and allow others and myself to fully absorb the cleanse. A 2 to 3 hour sauna session with ice swimming breaks ensued. A shaman guided us through with song and natural scents from the 4 seasons, and allowed us individually time to openly share stories or just to take time and appreciate the silence. I hope you can understand that filming in a sauna isn't exactly practical, but I do want to emphasize how important this part felt to me. It was like nothing I'd ever experienced within my hundreds of sauna sessions, and this alone had already made the journey worth it. The next day I woke up in what felt like a winter paradise, and I was excited to spend time with the other wonderful attendees. Although we all shared some form of common interest to be there in the first place, it was interesting to see and hear everybody's different reasons for attending. Our host was Leigh, who did a fantastic job with the help of his lovely partner Karita and a few other experienced attendees. And it was a full weekend of meditation, breathwork seminars, sauna, cold plunges in the ocean, good meals and good chats. Leigh's focus remained on the job at hand, helping others feel safely guided and supported through what can be a physical and or a mental challenge, albeit a welcome one. So Leigh and I ended up sitting down a couple of weeks out from the retreat, and I'll let him explain a little bit better about himself and the importance of the work that he is doing.
All right, Leigh, bro. Thanks again for coming out, man. Do you want to introduce yourself and just let the people know how we met?
Yeah, my name's Leigh Ewin. I'm from Australia originally, but I've been living here in Finland for about 18 years. And actually, I've grown to love cold weather and more specifically cold exposure. So I love cold water immersion, and that led me on to down a rabbit hole of breathwork, because you want to calm yourself when you go in. Breathwork and cold exposure go hand in hand. It's all about your nervous system. It's all about calming the body, having the body-mind connection. And funnily enough, I'm the Australian guy selling the cold to Finnish people, like the sort of selling ice to Eskimos, the old cliche.
Yeah, I mean, people have seen a little bit so far in the video, but do you want to let people know what we were up to on this retreat weekend?
Yeah, sure. I run ice diving retreats, and of course, it comes from my own passion. Like, I do something cold every single day. I go and do some dip in the ocean or in a pond or a cold shower at least. And it kind of just grew from there. I felt so good by doing that. And of course, my interest grew so much that I was like, okay, where can I take this? And yeah, I went under the ice because freediving is not breathing and learning how to breathe at the same time, and cold exposure. So the kind of two merged together. And I said, you know what, I want to invite people from around the world to do ice diving, because that was such a huge thing for me to do, and I got a lot out of it myself. So basically, it's a weekend-long retreat from Friday to Sunday, and anyone can come from any experience level. They don't have to have any experience with the cold, actually, and many people come that don't have experience. They come from Arizona and California, where they think they have some cold, but then they come to Finland, they're like, actually, this is cold. And my job there is basically getting everybody together in sort of like, you know, like a team or a tribe, you could say. We do sauna rituals. I give some lectures. I teach people about breathing and the benefits of cold exposure and just how their body works, like remembering how everything works, because the body can actually not only handle these things, but rise to the challenge of all these things. We have good food, we have good discussions, and by the end of it, people are ready to do an ice dive. And of course, I've got a team of people that work really, really hard to make sure that this is a really safe activity. We don't take any shortcuts with safety whatsoever. Everyone's got the proper safety gear. I have a defibrillator there. You know, we have a emergency plan, everything like this. We also have a little sauna on top of the ice. And away we go and do it. And that's the kind of grand finale. The whole weekend leads up towards this moment where people can do something that only a really, really small percentage of people ever get to experience on this planet Earth.
Yeah, awesome to hear about your perspective from what you do. I think we spent about 2.5 days listening to what everybody else is going through, so it's just interesting to me from your perspective as well. What is your day-to-day like, as far as, or a week to week, as far as cold training and stuff goes, and how do you deal with that during the spring and the summer months as well?
Yeah, good question. I mean, I do something cold every day.
Right.
That's right now I'm sitting here in this lovely breeze, so it feels also actually probably colder than the retreat, to be honest, with the breeze down here in central Helsinki. But yeah, I do something cold every day. Just became part of my life. The long story short was, like, I was introduced to the cold by, like, kind of forced to do it by my colleagues. They sprung it on me at a Christmas party, and then, they did it a couple of years in a row. They took videos. They a bit poked fun at me because I was struggling in there. And then I went off and trained by myself at the Baltic Sea, made all the mistakes, felt like I was going to, like, sometimes I felt like I've gone too far, or am I going to feel my fingers or toes ever again, all that sort of stuff. Cut myself on the ice as well, everything. But by the time I went back to the Christmas party where I knew we were going to do it again, I was ready. I was ready to prove that I can do it and surprise them, and I did that. That was just before Christmas time, and for a couple of weeks I was like, okay, job done, great job. And then I just had this itch, like, actually something's missing, and then I knew that somehow this was part of my life now, and ever since then I've been just doing cold pretty much all the time. It's a little bit different in like you said, in the spring or summer. You just got to know the right people. Or some of the swimming halls have they have those cold pools in there, in the normal swimming halls. But I do have some good friends that have, like, they convert these freezers, so you just plug it in like a normal freezer, you fill it up with water, and it makes ice in there, and you can get it done that way. And I'm actually building one this spring/summer. I'm going to have my own one of those, so I can actually do it in the summer as well.
Right.
Although for an Aussie, I mean, you could go to any lake here and it's still probably plus 15, plus 16 is,
Right.
To be fair, like some mates from around Sydney, they said, after about 5 or 6 years, the Leigh's gone crazy kind of narrative wore off a bit, and people started investigating the cold, and they started to do it.
Yeah.
And they said, hey, we're in winter, we're all going. Like, they took selfies and sending me that, and I was like, oh, awesome, guys. And they're like, yeah, it's 18 degrees. I'm like,
plus.
Awesome, good job, guys. Come to Finland as well,
Yeah.
So,
when we were at the retreat, you were able to share a bunch of, what I would consider really, like, important information and stuff that you sort of preach and that you believe in, because your own experiences, and like I say, you get to see people go through this stuff. For the average viewer of my videos, and maybe these are people that don't live in Finland and still think it's crazy that you swim under the ice, or know nothing about breath work or yoga or meditation or what it is, what's something that people could kind of take away? To give away all your secrets, but something that, like, something you believe in that the average viewer should know, just on.
Look, we live in a pretty crazy world, right? Like, there's never been this much anxiety and stress in the common person in everyday life, But the good news is that, like, we can actually regulate ourselves. The way that the nervous system reacts to everything and wants to protect us and keep us, like, safe. It's not trying to do anything else other than just keep us alive and keep us kind of safe from any harm or any danger. We know that when it rises, we can, like, regulate ourselves through the breath, lengthening the exhale. The same things that I learned in the cold. That's kind of like the metaphor for life. When the stress comes, then you breathe, you calm the breath, you lengthen the exhales, and then you actually feel like, oh, I can do this, I'm back in this, at least in this neutral spot. That's kind of like the big part of, when you're about to go and go diving in under the ice. That's the key, right? Like, to regulate your own self, and also, like, to have this body-mind connection. I think a lot of the time our attention and our thoughts are kind of so scattered. It's very rare that people can, like, hop back in and connect the two, you know. And I think breathing is one of those things. You know, we went to the sauna as well. We have these almost like a ritual where people were just like sharing things about different stages of life, you know, bringing meaning back into the thing.
Yeah.
Like, why are we here? Like the bigger picture, but also why are we here at the retreat too? Like, honestly, a lot of like people just connecting with each other again, connecting with yourself, sure, but connecting with other people. I think like sometimes we've been really protective with our own time, especially in the last 5 or 6 years. People are they've been asked, you know, to think again what's important to them, you know, like what to prioritize in their life. So I think sometimes stepping outside of that and meeting new people and doing things together is like a very human thing, but sometimes we just don't give ourselves that opportunity. And that's why I love to bring people together. And I think something happens when you just breathe in a group of people, or you meditate together, or you do a sauna, or you do an activity like this. So
yeah, and I can speak to that. I mean, you're all there on sort of like a common interest, but for very different reasons at this retreat, for example. And we had a great group of people, but within 3 hours, I felt like these are just all people I've known for a long time, especially after that sauna. I actually came in kind of highly strung. I had a weird thing where I got woken up in the middle of the night a few nights before. Usually wouldn't bother me that much, but somehow it just sat with me, like just had that ball of tension in the chest. I actually knew in advance by the time I get out there, I'd feel better, but I had no idea we had the sauna session and some swimming in the cold water coming up on arrival. Dude, it was a blessing, man. I felt perfect after that.
Happy
so
to hear
good.
that. Yeah, I mean, it's funny thing. Like if people really knew what was going to happen, because you know you want to let them know that they're going to do some cold stuff. There's a sauna, something or other. There's a nice villa, nice setting, and then ultimately all that stuff, food, whatever, leads up to doing an ice dive. But if I was going to tell people that they're going to be taking how many hours are in the sauna? Like 4 rounds, but it was like what, a couple of hours?
Yeah, I would imagine it's around 3.
Probably, 2 or 3 hours total time in the sauna. You know, most people would be like, that's too much. Wouldn't be able to do that. Then you're gonna tell people that they dunk in the water in between the saunas. You know, like rinse off, wash off.
Yeah.
Some people have only ever done one cold dip in 1 day or 1 week. All of a sudden we've done 4, you know. People were holding their breath, like one guy was holding his breath 4.5 minutes more or less. One person who had never trained before, we got him to lovely guy Dan, 2.5 minutes or something, and he was just like the amazement on the guy's faces. It was like, what, I can do this?
Yeah.
And then of course the ice dive itself, you know, and everything in between. So it's quite a lot. It's asking a lot. It's like demanding a lot from the people. But hopefully, and I'm pretty confident that it's been done in a safe way where people feel well supported. And I think that a big part of that is when you look around the room and you like you said, within 3 hours, everyone felt like a little family. You know? And it was awesome. It's a credit to everyone who's just open enough, share themselves. But again, it brings me back to the point of like, you know, we don't find ourselves in those situations too much, you know. If we've got a job in an office setting, you know the people, you know, there's a new employee coming once every so often, some new meetings or whatever, but it's quite business, it's quite surface layer, it's quite materialistic in a way, like all this kind of surface layer. And it's not until you get away from everything else and then you just get to nature and you just lean in on some very, very simple things in a way, but just, you know, it all kind of like comes together and creates something new, you know?
Yeah. I'm gonna have links to everything you do in the description of the video and everything as well.
Sure, yeah.
But for people who want to sort of follow you and people who are now interested in what you do and are potentially, you know, want to go to one of these retreats or something, what do you have coming up and what are you working on that people can expect from you and take part in the future?
Yeah, I want to, well, obviously more retreats. Of course, every year we do 3 or 4 of those retreats.
Cool, yeah.
So the dates for next year are already there. Also, like just guiding people with breathing, you know, and even more specifically, helping people to find calm in their own body, in their own life, so that they can sleep better, so they can perform better, so they can focus and be more themselves, actually, I would say. And then also teaching the teachers, training the trainers. Breathwork, the world of breathing has kind of exploded the last maybe 5 to 10 years, you could say. It's kind of made a comeback. There's more science and more understanding about it, but there's also a lot of noise. There's lots of stuff out there on YouTube, and anyone can kind of like get the information, but like, you know, there's a real craft to it, actually. It's not just breathing. So I want to help coaches and mentors bring that into everyday coaching. You know?
Awesome, man. Anything else you'd like to add for the people? No pressure.
No pressure, but I don't know, just I guess I just say that you breathe the way you want to live, you know? There's times in life where you need to breathe a little bit more, you know? You want to generate that energy, you want to run up the stairs, you want to pump the weights, whatever it is, play footy, something like that. But for the most part, I just ask people that just check in with yourself, you know? Check in with yourself. If something feels very intense, if it feels like you said before, this ball of this tightness or something's rising, it's like, you know, we actually have the capability to do it our way, you know? And I think it's kind of a metaphor for life anyway. Like, if we're not doing it a little bit on our terms, or if not totally on our terms, then what are we here for, you know? There's so much we can achieve, but we've got to take responsibility for ourselves, you know? In a not in a negative way, but no one's coming to save us like that, you know? We've got to step up and do it ourselves first. And the metaphor that I'm always using is like when the plane's going, like, you know, the little card in the front seat, it's like they say, put the oxygen mask on yourself before you help anybody else, right? So if we're not in a good place ourselves, then what use are we to our partner, our kids, our family, whatever? So that's my message, is like, through the breath we can take control of this and be as present as we need to be to get things done in life and live it the way we want to.
Yeah, it's beautiful, man. Really good message. Maybe from my experience as well, I think a lot of people expect that to sort of come to them passively, like that they'll passively feel good. But I think it takes a bit of action, and I think you can see that especially with, as we were just talking before, but people who go through this experience, whether it is just sitting down for 10 minutes to breathe or going through swimming underneath the ice, like those are potential discomforts or new experiences, and people come out of it feeling good. But it's the action of doing something, not just waiting for it to like come to you, which is so important.
Yeah, and the other thing as well is like we're really sensitive, right? Like humans are really grown to be very sensitive, and again, if you really think about it, our bodies and our nervous system are just designed to keep us alive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you wake up in the morning and, you know, your blood pressure rises, the alarms beep beep beep, all this sort of stuff, if you actually listen to that, your whole body in that moment, it's saying there's a threat, your heart rate's up, your blood pressure is rising, like I said, and it's like, okay, what's going on? I'm in my cave and I'm on a high alert already. If you really listen to your body at that point, you just go back under the covers and you wouldn't do anything.
Right.
So kind of microdosing the little stressors in life is actually a good thing. A little bit of cold. You know, most people understand if you pump the weights in the gym, that's kind of like a stress on the body. It's actually ripping the muscle to pieces, actually, so that it grows back and grows bigger in preparation for that load again, if it comes again. Sauna. Most people are okay with the sauna. A warm box to be in, you know. Sounds pretty good right now, to be honest. The saying is that if you do the easy things in life, life gets harder. But if you do the harder things in life, life gets easier. And so we shouldn't really shy away from those little difficult things. Like if you're, for example, public speaking or up in front of people, there's times where you really need to do that. And if you really want to do that, but you're scared about it, and you know, all those things rise in your body, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
You know, you just got to breathe like you want to do it. So you calm your breath, you're like ready, and then you fire down, you know, you do your thing. So yeah, I think it's just not shying away from the stresses, right? Like being like managing those things when they rise, but not shying away from those things, because actually the body's ready. The body's so like evolved and it's adapting all the time to all kinds of things. So not to shy away from everything.
Awesome. Beautiful, man. Thank you again for having me. It was a great experience. I was on a weird position of trying to film and trying to take part, but I think the next time I'll just have to leave the camera aside and do the full experience.
Doors are open.
Already, like I say, there was so much, even just on that first evening, to then just being around the people and look, good food and good chats and everything. That it was great. It was a good experience, and I would encourage anybody else to to take notes and hopefully show up for a retreat as well. Put yourself through something that seems a little crazy, but there's a 100% success rate of people coming out of that going had a good time. So like, I don't know why you wouldn't do it. So yeah, thank you again, bro.
Thanks,
appreciate it a lot.
On the third day, we then travelled north to a lake where holes had been prepared in advance with safety lines and courtesy of our safety divers. I did my best to allow people to meditate their way through any anxieties, but I squeezed in a few quick questions to gauge the feeling.
I'll try to be serious, but I can't promise.
I can't be that serious. This is casual as fuck.
All right.
All right, bro. Do you want to let us know what we're doing here today?
Yes. Today we are in Finland, and we're going to do a 10-meter ice dive. So we're going to get into the really cold water and do a long swim. Oh, it shouldn't be that. It's actually going to be, I think, a pretty short swim, or feel like it. So I think this is about as cold as I'm going to feel, I think, the whole time. I think everyone's going to blow it out of proportion and then do it really fast and be like, oh my God, that was easy. So, but yeah, it's pretty cool to see everyone all amped up. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to do it. And yeah.
From Arizona.
Yeah, Mike here from Arizona with my wife Chris. She's over trying to stay warm. Oh, here she is.
She is.
Yeah, we live in the desert. We're at peace with the extreme heat, and here trying to make peace with the extreme cold.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
You're excited today?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Very nervous. A bit nervous.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Completely understandable.
Yeah.
All right, I think you guys are going to do great.
Thank you.
We'll see you after.
All right.
All right, you want to tell us a little bit about what we're about to do?
Going to ice dive
Yeah.
for the first time
Amazing.
under the ice.
How you feeling?
Cannot say that I wouldn't be nervous,
Yeah.
but let's say confident. We'll have a good training for the event, I think.
That is true. The weekend's been great. Yeah. Awesome, man. I'm going to see how you feel afterwards. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Thank you. We're about to go into the ice. How are you feeling in general?
I'm very excited. Mostly I'm just excited.
Cool.
But I think I'm going to feel the nerves when I'm going to sit on the edge of the ice, definitely.
You've been under the ice before or no?
I've been under the ice with my head and everything, but not under the ice like this. Or I have, but just like 1.5 meters. So it was
Right on.
not, as far as this.
Cool. All right, we'll see how you feel afterwards.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
feel?
It was good, but I mean, I still had a little tension when I went under. I'm like, okay, I know what I'm doing, but it was still a little tiny bit unnerving for me. I felt like I twisted. I'm like, oh fuck, I gotta get. And then I cruised past the hole. I'm like, oh fuck. And then I was kind of like, but I didn't run out of breath.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, even though I was under another 5 seconds or whatever.
Yeah, right on. Yeah.
Lifetime.
I thought you were heading back to the car for a second.
Yeah, right.
The culmination of the weekend's prep was beautiful to watch. I was oddly proud to watch these people whom I'd quickly grown fond of overcome the biggest challenge of the weekend. Leigh and the safety divers guided the group through with an admirable calmness and professionalism. Helping hands assisted with swim caps and masks. Karita wrangled the next warm and soon-to-be cold body from the mobile sauna. Because yes, this is Finland, and yes, there will be a sauna, even in the middle of a frozen lake. Once again, I find myself incredibly grateful for this unique experience. Meeting all these lovely people, for the strangers who became friends, and the challenges overcome. And although I kept mostly warm behind the comfort of non-waterproof cameras, watching my new friends push for their own perspective boundaries was a joy in its own. To those watching, I can only hope you'll be inspired enough to start or continue to be inspired to push through resistances of your own in search of whatever peace and fulfillment it may bring. If you're not sure where to start or continue, I'd suggest following Leigh on the socials linked below, and please do consider one of Leigh's retreats coming to a winter near you. And don't forget to breathe the way you want to live.